generally speaking, the stock market is now 15%.
Well, it's like everything, I think, as I've mentioned earlier, that the sentiment is to me, is the mindset and the outlook and the optimism or pessimism, and that's what it is at the moment, of having hope, faith and passion going forward and really believing and being inspired to be productive. Right now is that you've got a very disheartened public certainly in Victoria, Sydney, because there's lack of direction, so much uncertainty. So when there's uncertainty, we sort of we tend to play a defence game, not do anything. We're uncertain about the outlook of the East, with what's happening, in certain pockets of Europe, the Middle East, what's happening in the United States. We have poor leadership here, without sort of naming any names, but there's no real excitement. And I put it down to, someone said to me the other day, a psychiatrist said to me, how do you, not that I was seeing a psychiatrist, but as a psychiatrist, as a friend of mine, he said to me, how do you explain that? And I said, well, it's a bit like in business. You're a lot more excited going to a wedding or going on holiday opposed to the feeling of coming home from that wedding or coming home from that holiday, particularly if you're in the wedding. And I think that's akin to how people's mindset, it's coming home from that wedding or coming home from that holiday, what's next, what have I got to do? And it's, I think, a lack of hope and positive feeling to inspire people to be productive, and that's where the innovation's been gone in this country. I mean, I don't really run into a lot of inspirational people that are so excited about their work. I am, but I'm very wary of how critical it is to keep my head absolutely clear, not negative or positive, but I know where the opportunities are to take advantage of that. Most people, and I think the worst thing too, definitely by far, unfortunately, the media have, particularly in the areas of real estate that affect mum and dads because it's their biggest asset, not their super, it's their home, have really written a lot of negative articles in the last 6-9 months, probably since Christmas, about the numbers on real estate, and which has made people feel, with lack of information, lack of intelligence, made them feel threatened or vulnerable. A wise man said to me one day, it's interesting on pricing, and I was only probably 25 and I was having the same sort of conversation in a similar market. He said, and I was always into my suits and clothing, he said, you know what, if $2,000 Hugo Boss suits were on sale down at David Jones in Burke Street, and they're on sale for $400, you'd go and buy 5, wouldn't you? And so it's amazing when things come off, people look at, or they're discounted, and property prices now are off. Good opportunity. Interest rates certainly are not going to, we don't see there's any pressure of interest rates going up. But even things like cars and certain things have come off. Food's still high, but it's interesting how people don't look at it that way. Where I get very disheartened in a bull market because everything's so expensive. Not so much inflation, but property prices. Right now, commercial and industrial prices are probably the best they've been for some time. So I'd say to investors out there, but the sentiment, I think the media, a lot of negativity out there, and a lot of it, partly, some of it's accurate and some of it's not, but it's things are on sale in certain areas. And I only say that because it's, to understand sentiment and keep yourself positive, you've got to go back in time. I remember doing seminars for a lot of retirees, and everyone in the room, some nights there'd be 500 in the room, and when I touch on superannuation investments and they're living in a home $1 to $1.5 to $2 million, they look back and they think, and I say to them, how many people, knowing what you know now, after all these interest rate deviations of 4%, 6, 11, 12, 18, back down to 1, then back up. Knowing what you know now, knowing about superannuation, yes, we manage whatever it is, $1 million, $5 million, etc. Knowing what you know now, how many people in the room would go back and buy 3 or 4 of the homes that you reside in now, knowing what you know about investment, debt, the fear of debt, and almost every hand goes up in the room, knowing what they know they should have, and these are post-war baby boomers, most conservative, post-war. Knowing what they know now, they should have spent another $30,000 and bought another home when they could, rather than just pay it all off and be in a, serving time for 20 years and paying the home off, realising how much equity they could. So what I'm getting at is that the sentiment is we won't realise the opportunity in this market until 2 years in 2026 when we're reading about 2024. That's my view on sentiment.